Mr. Young and Foreign.
Kick to the gut!
Kick to the gut.
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 Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Hey, Kick to the Gut.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the Gut podcast.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut. Congrats on 100 episodes.
100 episodes.
What?
100 episode this week. Holy crap.
A happy 100 episodes, a huge milestone.
Kick to the Gut podcast, 100 episodes.
100 episode. 100 guys. That's a lot of episodes.
100 Kick to the gut episodes.
100 episode. 100 episodes.
Woo!
Your podcast sucks!
That's my favorite part of the whole thing, by the way, bro. What's going on? Welcome to Kick to the Gut 100.
100, baby.
Oh my gosh.
We made it, brother.
Oh, did you ever
do you see
think?
this?
Oh yes, I see
see
the
this?
WWE Championship headband.
Yes.
Did you ever think, bro, that when we started this, we would make it to 100 episodes?
Bro, this is the longest relationship I've ever had, man. I mean,
Well, I guess I should be honored, right?
yeah, man, bro. Like, can you believe it? Can you believe the like one random conversation between us, like at work,
Yep.
could have led all of this? It blows my mind.
Hey, Foreign, the bromance is strong, but we always got to kick things off with, hey, what's up? It's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building.
That's right.
And
Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this journey and being part of our very special 100th episode. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, you know what's the best part about our bromance, my brother?
What's that?
We haven't turned heel on each other yet.
Yeah.
Title is still good.
That's right.
We're like the new day, bro. We haven't been drafted away as well.
That's true. You know, there was that filter that asks which champion are you, right?
Yes.
On Instagram, it will randomly give you one. And you got which one?
The Universal title, bro.
And I got the WWE title. So it's like quite fitting, lah. You know what I mean? We each
Fitted,
lead
bro.
our own brands and everything.
Yeah, man. I guess I'm the tribal chief.
And I'm the Scottish psychopath.
Yes, apparently you are the sexy Scotsman.
Oh, all right, the sexy Scotsman. No, that's what he is.
Yeah, man.
But man, it has been an amazing ride, and this by no means is end of anything. In fact, it is the end of season 3, but a start of something new. And by what you see on the sides right here, this new overlay, this format, I think it's a hint as to what could be coming your way in season 4. And I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
Yeah, we were joking before we went live, right? Season 3, we started doing YouTube videos. We started our own YouTube channel.
Yes.
Putting a video format to our podcast. Season 4, it looks like we're gonna be streaming it live. So
Hey.
that is like the big announcement that we wanted to make.
That's right.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe season 5, season 6, we'll be doing VR. We'll be doing AR.
We'll be in your house, in your face.
Literally, we'll be presenting. We'll be doing like live Broadway, bro. We'll go to everyone's house and we'll start doing a podcast.
Why not?
Right?
Hey.
Live there.
Season 10 hologram in people's houses. Why not?
Oh my god, invasion of privacy, but why not?
Yeah, right? Hey, you know what? We, on this very special episode, want to say a thank you to so many people. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone who contributed to that little video earlier. We are going to hear more from them because today we are also looking at our top 10 interviews of our entire run of our first 100 episodes here on Kick to the Gut. But I very quickly want to give a big shout out to Najwan. Look at the artwork he did. Isn't that awesome?
Amazing.
And you see the text, it actually literally says the Young Bucks behind Mr. Young.
It's all our most quote-worthy captions
That's right.
throughout our entire run with the podcast. Of course, for sure, Foreign's always in the building.
Heck yeah. And okay, talking about the people who have been there from the start, and also we're rocking our Kick to the Gut t-shirts. I know you are as well. There you go, right? We want to give a big shout out to our gear sponsor from BIA Athletic, Bharat. We had him on the show before as well, and here he is with a message for us.
Hey guys, congrats on all the success so far and the huge milestone of 100 episodes. And thank you for keeping the spirit of wrestling alive. Keep doing what you're doing and, motivating people as well.
There you go.
Wow,
I
it's
don't
amazing.
know what we are motivating people to do. Maybe to watch more wrestling.
Bro, no. We are motivating people to live their best lives.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you wanna start a podcast? Do it.
Hell yeah.
You wanna watch wrestling and enjoy and support local wrestling? Do it.
You want to
can
do a
do whatever
live
you want.
stream? You can do it. You want to make a rap song? You can do it.
Yeah,
What-
bro.
What we're doing.
Yes, and of course, Mr. Young, you're always motivating people to stay young, stay happy, stay active. Come on.
I guess so. And Foreign, what about yourself, man? You a baller now? I mean, come on.
I mean, other than being a what do you call it, like a Reese WWE champion,
Yeah, micro champion. That one micro champion.
micro champ.
The Ant-Man championship belt.
I think the most important impact that I've seen from starting this podcast, especially the last 2 years, is we have definitely brought out a lot of wrestling fans that might be hiding their passion for WWE
Yeah.
or like pro wrestling in general. Bring them out of the woodwork. Like a cockroach, bro. You
Walao,
spray a bit.
Don't say cockroach lah. At least something nicer like butterflies, like caterpillars blooming into butterflies. We are
Bro,
everywhere.
Cockroach is resilient. You know why? we wrestling fans, we are resilient. We've stuck through the tough times of wrestling,
Sure.
at its highest and its lows.
Yes.
And who knew 2 years into this, we'll be doing a stream through a pandemic as well.
Yeah.
So I would say we are resilient cockroaches.
Okay, visually
Passing through
maybe
all
not
of
the
this.
best comparison, but I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying.
Yes,
and
yes.
for me anyway, on this journey, one of my favorite things is because I'll admit, when we first started this show, originally we were like, yeah, let's talk about WWE, right? I had no clue, zero idea about local wrestling, Singapore wrestling, regional wrestling. But now, I still won't say that I'm quite knowledgeable about it, but I feel like we made so many friends. We've learned so many things about the regional scene as well. And, we've got to interview and talk to so many really, really awesome, both veteran and up-and-comers as well from the Singapore scene.
Yes, correct. The most beautiful thing I think about this podcast is not only connecting with fans of wrestling in general from WWE, but as well as, like you said, the local wrestling community. There is a community, and to not only be able to contribute to the community to make sure it stays thriving and all that, but also to lend their support and, as we wrote at the caption on our Instagram, to uncover their stories. I believe that's a very important thing. I think people connect with stories a lot, personal hopes and dreams, and to know that all these people are true blue Singaporeans, people who've grown up with our experience as Singaporeans but still want to chase this wrestling dream. I believe it's really, really inspiring. So I'm very thankful that we get to meet all these awesome people.
100%. And speaking of a true blue Singaporean, I know you and I, we believe in this guy. We see a lot of potential in him. And he sent us a message. Here's Big Good Jack.
Hey everyone, Big Good Jack from Singapore Pro Wrestling here. Just want to congratulate Foreign and Mr. Young on the 100th episode at Kick to the Gut podcast. I've been there a couple of times myself, and it has always been a fun and memorable experience. I also like to take this opportunity to thank the two of them for whatever they have done to the local wrestling scene right here in Singapore. Hope to see all of you guys soon, but meanwhile, stay safe.
I love how he threw in the stay safe. Such a good boy, this one.
I love it, man. I love that he had like our entire catalog of episodes in the background.
At the back on Spotify, right?
Yeah, true listener. And yes, it's crazy. Like, another great thing about the podcast is, as we started the podcast, as the podcast grew, we saw the blossoming careers of some of our local wrestlers. Big Good Jack made his debut right about the same time that we started the podcast, and to see him grow in stature, to see him develop his his own fan base, see him grow as a wrestler, it's been beautiful to see.
Absolutely. And talking about someone who is, in terms of a wrestling career, super young, we sort of saw her grow from, who is she, to all of a sudden, whoa, she's probably one of the most notorious heels, I guess, in SPW.
Oh my god, yes.
And yet she's like one of the nicest people ever. She was on the show as well, right?
Yes.
We're talking about none other than the colonizer.
Happy 100 episodes to Kick to the Gut. When it comes to wrestling, you guys really know your stuff. You're the real deal. And your work on the mic is as slick as the rocks. as powerful as Paul Heyman, and you guys are as knowledgeable as Christopher Nowinski. Thank you both so much for making us weird wrestling fans feel less alone in this journey. Congrats, Kick to the Gut. Your podcast sucks! I couldn't understand a word you were saying. Did you never go to English class?
Love it. I love it.
That was the best.
Yes, indeed, we are weirdos and proud. Weird and proud.
Yes, we are. In our love for this crazy thing called pro wrestling. We also got a clip, by the way, from Faiz. And I honestly don't know what to make of this one, Foreign. Maybe after we watch it, you can explain what's going on.
I will give my professional analysis on this.
Okay, go ahead. What was that?
I believe this is a very veiled threat. There's a lot of layers to it.
Okay.
So I guess he's a dead man rising from the grave, clearing all the dirt from his crevices.
Right.
Maybe I think he's making a wrestling comeback. Who knows?
Is he throwing the dirt at us? Is that what it is? He's throwing the dirt out there?
Metaphorical shade.
Maybe he's the SmackDown hacker.
Well, it will be a much better reveal than what we saw on Raw. I can say that. Faiz. As for those who don't know who he is, it doesn't matter who he is.
Ayo, alamak.
Just kidding.
Talk about throwing shade right back, huh?
Love you, bro. Love you, Faiz.
Of course, let's talk about someone who also is a powerhouse and representing Grapple Max, and he maybe had a message for you, Foreign.
For me?
Yeah, for you. Let's hear what Guru had to say.
What up, Kick to the Gut? Congrats on your 100th episode. Foreign, get your ass back in the dojo soon.
Look at that horse strength, bro. Horse strength.
Bro, this one is not a veiled threat, bro. This is that's directly calling me out, really, bro.
Yeah, it's like, was that supposed to be you? He threw over the top rope to the floor, huh?
Okay, one thing I have to really give a shout out to is, of course, Grapple Max.
Yeah.
Because through this platform, through Kick to the Gut, I got to live one of my childhood dreams, which was to perform in a wrestling match, a full-on wrestling match, and to get the opportunity to train as a wrestler with Grapple Max and to face off against Lady Killer.
Yes.
That was one of the most amazing experiences in my life. You were there, bro, right in my corner as my manager.
Well, in just a bit, in case you've never seen footage of that very match, of Foreign in the building on the mat, we have some clips for you in a bit. Plus, the world's worst spear cell. It'll be there too.
Oh my god.
That's coming up in a bit.
I can't believe you still kept it, but yes.
Of course, bro. Of course.
Yeah, so it's amazing.
Talking about young up-and-comers as well, I remember the first time we saw this guy at an SPW event. The first thing that came out of my mouth, Foreign, I looked at you. Alamak, this fella's so skinny. He's going to get broken in half.
He's gonna get broken in half.
But of course, since then, we've seen what he can do, the roles he can play, and man, he has got to be one of the most entertaining fellows in the ring, huh?
Yes, definitely, for sure. For sure.
We're talking about the Trickster.
100 episodes. Congratulations, Kick to the Gut podcast. The Trickster was glad to be one of your episodes. It's such an incredible milestone. And used to seeing many more episodes of Kick to the Gut. And the Trickster will see you in 2021.
I say, with the TikTok filters and everything.
We were just talking about VR and AR augmented reality, right? I think he already way ahead of us, bro.
He living in 2030, like we are living in 2020 only,
Truly a trickster.
Yeah, that's why. Cow Black. Also,
Black.
we want to give a big shout out to, who knows, in the future could be an MMA faction leader. Because you know where he changed a lot of that BJJ and everything from Grapple Max. Hey, let's give a big shout out to Lavin.
Mr. Young, Fan, congratulations on 100 episodes on Kick to the Gut. Thank you guys for doing what you guys do. Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, all those reviews, local match reviews, previews. All this is really helpful information for the fans, for the wrestlers, and everyone tuning in. Keep doing what you guys do and rock on, man. Here's to another 100 more. Cheers, fam.
Cheers, fam, indeed. And he was repping the Kick to the Gut shirt. Did you see? We appreciate that so much. Yeah.
He's awesome, man. He's been a great supporter of us from the beginning, and I love talking not just wrestling, MMA, BJJ. Such a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Loves the sport as well. So
absolutely.
Much cheers to him.
And I mean, talking about some of the established, let's talk about some of the established wrestlers here in the local scene as well. They've really welcomed us with open arms. I didn't know much about them, but through talking to them, we learned so much and their journey as well. Do you remember the first time you met Smart Dave?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, when I first saw him in the ring, I always thought he was this definitely a much older guy than his actual age.
Okay.
And he was such a perfect healer. I was quite intimidated by him, bro. Like the way he was so what's the word? I would say he's very snug in the ring.
Okay,
as
snug.
Stone Cold would usually say, he's very snug in the ring. He always makes his shots very believable.
That's right.
And I always think to myself, wow, this guy is one hell of a striker, man. He must be a very scary, strict guy in real life. Until I met him for real.
Yeah, and he's like the nicest guy ever, right? And
such a lovable dude, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's trained some of us before as well.
Yes,
I mean,
indeed.
Took a lesson from him as well. We're talking about, of course, Smart Dave.
Kick to the Gut, Smart Dave here, and for today, I'd like to congratulate you guys on hitting your 100th episode milestone. 100, guys? That's a lot of episodes. I mean, really, from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you guys for doing what you do, and that's sharing your love and passion for pro wrestling right here in the Singaporean scene. You guys doing an awesome job. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to see you at your 200th episode. So until then, see you guys.
200th episode, huh? 200th episode he mentioned.
I love it. Yeah, speaking of Smart Dave, and you talk about how he is in training, right?
Yeah.
Take nothing away, man. When he's training, he can be a very strict teacher, right? But he, I think one thing we really, really loved was how when we first saw him, and he was having this awesome rivalry with Greg, right, last year.
Yeah.
And they essentially did a double turn.
Right. Yeah.
And Greg turned heel. He had this awesome run with Inglorious as the end boss. And Dave became essentially a babyface. And I would say I thought he was. I didn't know whether he could pull off the role.
Right.
But I think he's a really sympathetic babyface. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally has the baby face.
Indeed, especially once his real personality shines through. He's a lovable guy, and I wish him all the best. He is one of the true, like a proper wrestler in the sense that he's trying to strive for that dream and becoming a pro. And I think he can use all of our support, and we hope for big things for him.
Absolutely. And talking about a nice guy, also a veteran in the Singapore scene as well. Much beloved faction that he had for a while. We're talking about the Eurasian Dragon.
Yo.
And let's hear from the man himself.
Congratulations to Kick to the Gut podcast on making it to 100 episodes. Here's to another 100 more. I am the Eurasian Dragon. Congratulations once again. Goodbye.
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 So weird the way he ended it, but we appreciate the sentiments nonetheless. Yes.
Dragon, man. I think he is officially holds the record for having the most appearances on our show. If I'm not wrong, it's 3.
I think so. Yeah, 3.
Is it 3? Yeah. Whether it's him appearing by himself, with various members of his family and faction. The great thing about Dragon is he's such an OG. He's like in the first generation of like wrestlers since SPW started, who kind of paved the foundation. Definitely is very beloved within the community. We really, really hope, and we are excited to see big things coming for him in the future. We understand earlier this year he made an announcement, that he was leaving SPW. So, I use a football analogy, bro. Okay. You know how like in last time, all the Singaporean footballers always want to play in S League only.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's about time, they start to go to all the other regional leagues and create a name for themselves.
Yes.
So that it always bodes well for us if our own local people do well in other regions,
That's right.
it brings notoriety back to Singapore.
And
So,
speaking of other regions, I think we 100% have to give a big shout out to Shaukat right now, who
Yes.
dropped a bombshell. Did you even see this coming? Were there rumblings? Like when I saw the announcement, I was like, wow, this is big news.
I did see it coming because you can count on Mr. Foreign to keep his ears on
Yes.
on the ground, you know.
The dirt
so
sheet man.
Yeah.
Or in
I
your
got my
case,
own-
maybe it's the dirty sheets man.
what's that supposed to mean, brother? I was randomly, I've been chatting up with Chaukat here and there, asking how he's doing and all that, and he's been actually posting a lot of cryptic messages before. He was saying like I got A.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, what, he gonna live stream his Avengers gaming, or he's gonna play the game or what?
Right.
But then I was equally as shocked as you by the announcement, and also equally as mind blown by the endorsement from none other than
Kurt Angle. It's true.
Indeed. Betul.
So his big announcement, APAC Wrestling, Asia Pacific Wrestling. It's, if I'm not wrong, supposed to be a studio show in Malaysia,
Yes.
based in Malaysia lah.
Indeed. So it's going to be a weekly episodic wrestling show.
Wow.
With proper ass production and all that. And we believe that they are trying to get all like the wrestlers around the region involved. Given the pandemic restrictions, we're not sure how's that going to work out. Of course, we are all going to wait and see. But I believe this is what the region needs. And there has been a precedent before, we got into the podcast scene. There was someone in Malaysia that tried to run a regional promotion as well. And I think some of our, OG wrestlers who can attest to this, they were involved as well. Sadly, it didn't work out, but this could be another try. So is this going to be like the XFL? Is this going to be, is it going to be successful? We can only hope, because if it succeeds, more eyes on the region, right?
Absolutely. And once the pandemic clears up as well, we'll see more people, I'm sure, head over there, from the region, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore. It's going to be fun, man. I can't wait. Especially since it is a properly funded studio show. Woo, it's exciting times, bro. Exciting times. We might have to make a few trips to Malaysia ourselves to check out the action.
I've been telling you, bro, we need to have like weekend trips to KL, man.
I know. But it's
that's
not happening
definitely part of it.
anytime soon, lah.
It will definitely be part of the plan, So we can only hope and pray. And as season 3 is gonna wind down after this episode, we're gonna take a short break,
That's right.
recalibrate, and we're gonna come back bigger than ever. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some scoops by then. For season 4. We shall see.
Yes. In the meantime, though, okay, let's get down to business. We're talking about the top 10 interview episodes that we've had here on Kick to the Gut as we celebrate Kick to the Gut 100. KTTG 100! Okay, coming in at number 10.
Yes, indeed, number 10.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this was season 2. Episode 2, we talked about John Moxley's shoot reaction. We previewed WWE Super Showdown, but the man himself, he gave us a big shout out as well. Let's take a listen right now.
Kick to the gut! What's going on, guys? It's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and a huge congratulations from me to you on 100 episodes. Woo! I always say the two hardest things in podcasting are starting a podcast and then continuing the podcast. And you guys are absolutely crushing it. Congrats.
I love the guy's energy. He has so much positivity. Is it any mystery that he's doing so well right now? You know what I mean?
That is why he is hands down the best wrestling YouTuber we have right now. The best wrestling interviewer. If you talk about MMA having his their Ariel Helwani, right?
Yeah.
WWE in itself, you're talking about outside the bubble of WWE, like really in pro wrestling across the board. Chris Van Vliet has the best interviews on YouTube, man.
For sure.
And we are so lucky to have had him come on our show, have him give us his endorsement, bro. Man, Most highest profile guest I believe we've ever had.
I think so. Well, maybe we'll see. Some of the guests on our list might beg to differ, but we'll get there in just a bit. So there you go, in at number 10. At number 9.
CVV.
Okay, let's go to number 9 now. This was a WWE Extreme Rules. We covered that. AEW Fight for the Fallen. But the main interview that we had was with this guy.
Hey guys, this is Troy Rama. Just wanted to wish Kick to the Gut podcast a happy 100 episode anniversary.
I mean, look, did you check out those guns? It should be illegal to walk around with guns that big.
Okay, you know how when you watch Brock Lesnar, right, and you see he's super jacked and super intimidating, and then when he starts talking, right, you don't expect that voice to come out from Brock Lesnar. I think Dharma also has that very same cute disposition, and I say it with the utmost of respect, calling him cute. What I meant is he is very intimidating, but once he speaks, he's such a nice guy.
He is such a super nice guy, and we've had 3 conversations with him on the show. Actually, 2. He's been on the show twice.
Yes, he was recently as well. But I think the first interview was really a great starting off point, because he dispelled a lot of misconceptions about him. People always swan him last time, or he's just a bodybuilder going to wrestling. We also had some of our minor, I wouldn't say it's even criticism, it's more of like feedback on his wrestling, saying that, hey, when you wrestle, it doesn't feel as intimidating as how you look. Maybe whether he was being overly safe, whether he's not hiding his spots well. But I think he took that advice very positively. And the matches that he had since, amazing horse boss fights, with Butcher Man, likes of Big Good Jack. So I think that's another aspect of the podcast that we never really realized. The fact that the wrestlers actually heard our feedback and use it, to improve on their own work in the ring. And I think I feel really grateful, as definitely the fact that they hold our opinion in such regard.
For sure. I mean, you can see in his last few matches, he's brought the intensity level way up from when we first saw him.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to number 8 on our list.
Number 8.
This is an interesting one, because this is a GrappleMax review. So we talked about wrestling at Chingay. We previewed Showcase 12 as well. And we got to talk to 2 of them. But what happened to Cohen? He didn't send us a clip. Was he too busy simping over Alexa Bliss? Or did he move on to someone else, Mandy Rose?
I'm not too sure, man. I can't remember whether I did reach out to him, but if I did forget, I'm really, really sorry, Cohen.
How could you? But together...
Bro, he's busy on TikTok. Maybe he's busy on TikTok. You gotta respect his hustle on TikTok right now, bro.
Together with Cohen, we talked to Prabhu.
Hi guys, this is Prabhu from GrappleMax. I just want to say congratulations to Ford and Mr. Young on 100 Kick to the Gut episodes. Thank you so much for doing what you guys do and giving spotlight to the local wrestling scene, whether it's reviewing our shows or talking to the wrestlers and getting to know them. Really appreciate all that you do, and thank you for continuing to give us podcast episodes in this COVID era, even when you can't meet up physically. Personally, I'm looking forward to a lot more Kick to the Gut episodes in the future, and listening to more of Mr. Young's rants on things he doesn't like. He's reaching Jim Cornette levels of entertaining ranting. Thank you guys so much, and keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you,
Awesome.
Prabhu. Jim Cornette levels of ranting. He described me as.
Bro.
Really?
He loves your every time you shit on the Young Bucks. I think you have like a subset of our listeners, bro, who low-key really enjoy your rants, bro. And I have to give it to you, lah.
Hey,
you can go all out.
I'm just all out. Oh, I see what you did there. I'm just trying to be real here with the Young Bucks and Cody and the nonsense we see. I will be fair. I will go all out on some of the WWE crap as well, but WWE has been holding up their end of the bargain. So recently, I haven't been doing that.
if I can be honest, I'm actually really surprised that that episode did really, really well.
Okay.
Cohen and Prabhu, I believe they do have a lot of supporters, or especially they have a lot of friends, I'm sure. And maybe it's an interesting dichotomy, seeing how like the podcast has like such a huge demographic in terms of like, you know, people of our age group, the more of the OG wrestlers, and now this is like the new generation of wrestlers. Prabhu, Zimbabwe. You know, respect for you over there. You know, that's how we remember him, you know, when he first started out. And I think he's grown so much since. Cohen as well. When we first interviewed him, he always said that, you know, I want to get on the show. I want to be the officially, you know, being called like the youngest ever Singaporean wrestler. Whether him and John are still competing for that title, I think both of them already has grown up since then. To see someone very passionate about wrestling at such a young age, I think it bodes well for the industry as a whole, because we always, you know, acknowledge that Attitude Era is like the golden era of wrestling. And like we always say, like, you know, all these kids, they miss out on that era. Like, what is it about wrestling now that they would like? So it's good to know that current generation of wrestling, you know, there's people who grew up in this generation and have their favorites as well. So it only bodes well for wrestling in the future.
Yeah, not just their favorites, but also want to take up the sport too. So yes, just great stuff ahead. Okay, let's jump into number 7 then.
Number 7.
We talked about Raw and SmackDown. This was season 1, actually.
Wow.
So interestingly enough, but we also had obviously a guest. This is the top 10 interviews of our run, our first 100 episodes. The clip though, it's not just her by herself, it's her with her SPW cohorts. The interview we did was with Alexis Lee.
Hey Kick to the Gut, a little birdie told me it's your 100 episode. Congratulations you guys. Cheers, man.
Give me that. Okay, what's up guys? What's up podcast boys? Congrats on your 100th episode. Can't wait to come back for another episode of Kick to the Gut.
Hey! Just want to wish you all a happy 100 episode. It's a huge milestone. Continue spreading the word of pro wrestling to Singapore. We love what you do. And it's only fitting that I end this episode because I am the most highly rated podcast in the whole of Singapore. Compared to these jabronis.
They told me that I'm one of the most highest rated episodes.
No, they told me that I am the most.
No, I got that thing.
No, let me show you. I got a message over here. See? You are one of the most top rated episodes. That's me.
I got the same message as well.
I got that same what the? Hey.
Stop the video.
Stop shit.
Consummate entertainments, huh? Those three. Why paise? Why paise?
I need to clarify something. Okay. So some context for what they were saying at the end of the episode, at the end of that clip. They mentioned how like, I thought he sent you that your episode was one of the highest rated.
Sure.
And then like he said, no, he said that I was one of the highest rated. Traxler was saying, yeah, he was the highest rated. It wasn't a copy and paste template that I was sending to all of you guys. Please, I did personalize it directly to you guys.
Wow.
But for like I said on this list, as we are rating like, you know, the most popular downloads, the number of downloads, by sheer number of downloads, Alexis Lee's interview, the first time that she did it with us, I think it was the season finale of season 1, right?
That's right.
I think it's really great because before that, I don't think there hasn't been such like a long form, in-depth profile into Alexis Lee, the person, not just the wrestler.
That's right. And don't worry, statement. Don't worry, Traxxas. We may or may not see you down this list in just a bit.
Yes.
So you got to hang in there for that. But
we also have to give one more shout out as well to another episode that all 3 of them did.
Yes.
And that has such a great impact on us in terms of the wrestling fans here in Singapore. But not only just that, for the profile of local wrestling, the one that they just came off fresh off their WWE tryout in Shanghai last year.
That's right.
And all 3 of them came and talked about their experience training in a WWE tryout and, you know, working with some of the legends like A-Train, aka Matt Bloom,
right?
Sarah Amato as well. So I think it's a very insightful conversation that we had as well.
Oh yeah, for
definitely
sure.
Amazing.
For sure.
Now, one thing I wanted to add about Alexis Lee, you know, they talk about how she's like the first female wrestler in SPW, and how she also has like a great run in in the promotion as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember I really enjoyed about that conversation was how she opened up about her personal relationship as well.
Sure, yeah.
And those are the kind of things that you wouldn't find out just from a short clip interview of like 5 minutes from a Q&A from a media.
Yeah.
You have to be sitting down in a podcast setting and be comfortable, and for her to open up about her personal life with us. I think we really appreciate it. And it's definitely led to some very, very eye-opening conversations after that.
Oh yeah, and it is no surprise that it comes in at number 7 here on our top 10 interviews from our first 100 episodes of Kick to the Gut. Now let's move on to number 6. And this, okay, we did a WWE Elimination Chamber review as well. It was season 1 also. But this might have been the most chaotic of all the episodes so far. Would you agree?
Yes, I believe so. And I'm very, very curious to see them. It's been so long since we've crossed paths with this duo. So
that's right. They were on the show together, but they're not together now, as in they didn't send their clips together. First of all, let's hear from SPW's resident GM.
Hey! Wow! Kick to the Gut. Wow, congratulations, the 100th episode. Wow, fantastic milestone. Hey, I want to just share the world. The time Power Warrior and me went to your studio, I don't even know how you actually tolerated us. We were losing our minds. At the same time, I want to thank you for sharing pro wrestling in Singapore to the world. That is a beautiful thing. I bless you, my children. Have a wonderful one.
We have been blessed by GM Carl Heller.
Yes, indeed, he has blessed us. My dear child. Oh my God, I miss that man. I mean, okay, first of all, I remember my first experience being at SPW and seeing him becoming like the heel general manager, the Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to my mind when I was seeing him, doing his thing in the ring was, wow, I can't believe that, pro wrestling can be contextualized to like such a Singaporean context. Having this not only a referee kayu, but like a match fixing general manager, damn kelong like that. And I was thinking, wow, they are so smart, to make use of all this like our own like local quirks incorporated into it. Remember when he took the durian to Durian Bum?
Yep. That was crazy from the Eurasian Dragon, right? Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Carl Heller, man. What a man. What a man.
And together with him, of course, we always saw a certain Power Warrior. Let's hear from him.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I'm here to congratulate Kick to the Gut podcast for their amazing milestone. 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more.
Okay. I don't know if you noticed in the video, right? There was some random text that pops up for like half a second. Random. Did you notice that?
I didn't actually.
You didn't?
You're talking about his phone clip?
Yeah, on the clip that he sent us, text would pop up like here and there. So what I did was I slowed down the footage, and this is what shows up. Buy Big Good Jack's merch. Okay, question.
Oh my God, okay.
Isn't Power Warrior aligned with GM Carl Heller? Don't they hate Big Good Jack? What is going on here? Is he like subliminally, subtly turning to the good side? Are we seeing a face turn from the Power Warrior here? What's going on?
Bro, I think this is a better potential storyline than whatever Distribution has been doing, bro.
Oh, well, hold on. Did we unwittingly become part of their storyline all of a sudden?
Okay. First of all, Power Warrior, it's so nice to see you again.
Yes.
It's been a while since we've seen you in SPW. And I'm not too sure what's his status, whether he took a hiatus, or he's on or he left the company and all that. But as you can see, the masked menace known as Power Warrior, I think he's a natural man in what he does.
Yeah.
And and I'm so happy that we had him, because I remember the episode that we did with him. I think all of them were really all the way putting up kayfabe, bro.
Yeah,
I think they
know.
lasted the entire episode in kayfabe.
Yeah.
And it was
of all our episodes, right? The kayfabe was strongest in that episode.
I respect the fact that they could keep a straight face, because I remember they were laughing their ass through the episode. So much respect to them. It was one hell of a nonsensical situation that we were in.
And
during the
apparently,
episode.
now these days he's a big Good Jack fan. So yeah, get Big Good Jack's merch according to Power Warrior.
Indeed.
By the way, if you want to check out that episode, it's season 1, episode 21. Now, before we move on with the top 5 and carry on with the list, of course, we got to give a big shout out to the people who have been with us listening to Kick to the Gut since day one ish, down since. Day one ish. Yeah, like some Uso stuff, man. Let's give a big shout out right now to one of them. Yo, Edison.
Hey guys, it's Edison, also known as Joe Corner Pro. So I'd like to wish Mr. Young, Foreigner Building, and Kick to the Gut a happy 100 episode. So every episode is my favorite, and I look forward to 200, 300, and even 1,000 episodes. So happy 100 episodes, Kick to the Gut, and it's been an honor, a privilege of listening to you guys every single week because, hey, that's my favorite time of the week.
What a sweet guy. And every time he sees me streaming my video games, he will share one. So I gotta give you a big shout out as well for that.
She is like, the reason why we keep our podcast going, man. Like, without fail. And I think whoever that listens to our podcast or follows us on Instagram would know, Edison, every single time we drop a new episode, he's the first one to repost it, to share, and talk about it, and to share. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard when we do podcasts and we sometimes we see the numbers and it's not as high as we would like. Whether it's because it's been the pandemic and the COVID really affected people's daily life and don't really listen to the podcast as much.
Yeah, or it's just a shitty week lah. It happens in every industry, bro. Every industry, radio, television. You'll have really highly rated episodes. You'll have not so highly rated episodes. But to know that there's this core group that's with us every single episode. So Edison is one of them. I want to give a big shout out to Div Royalty as well for always being there for us. Shazana, a big shout out to you.
Yes, Shazana, and I think we have to. I would have loved to have her, come on the show. I did reach out to her, probably shy girl, spicy girl or what, but I have to give. For me personally, I'm very indebted to her because I think she was one of the first few people in Singapore to like try to foster a wrestling community, be it whether it was through like WrestleMania meetups, whether it was to like barbecue sessions, getting like running like a wrestling page. A couple of years ago, she even started a website called Wrestling Law where she reviewed episodes, and of course the big one where she organized WrestleFest in Asia last year. When she brought Summer Rae, when she brought Kelly, when she brought Emma, and to see her hustle so hard, I think inspired. One of the reasons that probably inspired me to run this podcast as well. And I would really, really want to thank her, and I hope she hears this. Yeah. And whatever you're doing for the community, and you being you as a wrestling fan, is very inspiring.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Haley Hales as well, to Muhammad Daniel. There are probably names that I've forgotten, but we do see you, so we apologize if we don't shout out your name right now.
One of my dear friends, his Instagram, I always mispronounce it, but it's like JM Rapon. I'm really, really sorry if I got it wrong, but he's one of our listeners all the way from Brunei. Yeah, and I remember I did a show. I did a show for his show. I did a spot for his show. He does a radio station show there where he talks about wrestling as well. Right. And I met him at WrestleFest Asia, and I had a chance to network with a lot of people from there. So the fact that there's someone in Brunei hustling and doing the wrestling thing as well, the wrestling broadcast, it's great that everyone can support each other in this community in the region.
Absolutely. Awesome. Let's say hello to Brian Chong as well. Let's say hello to I feel like I had one name in my head and then it slipped out.
Sean Rick, Mr. Sean Rick.
Sean Rick, yo! What's up, Sean Rick? Yes, thank you. I'm going to kick myself for, not remembering every single person's name, because it is important to us that, you listen to our shows and you show love. We want to show love. So once again, we apologize if we can't, remember every person's name, but know that we appreciate what you do, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Like everyone, like even something as in your opinion, maybe as insignificant as like looking at our Insta stories, you know, or like reacting to like our Instagram posts, you know, giving a like, or just viewing even like 30 seconds of the episode, like really makes our day, because, bro, we have literally consistently sat down for 100 weeks.
Yes.
Breaks here and there, but 100 weeks consecutively to talk about wrestling, man.
That's
and
right.
If it's just you, me, and Edison listening, I will still continue doing this shit.
If it's you and me, we'll still do it anyway. So that's the whole rationale for us doing this podcast to begin with, right?
Yes,
so
indeed,
that being
indeed.
said, once again, thank you for listening, for watching. Hey, we're going to promise you, we got more awesome stuff lined up for you in the months to come when season 4 comes around. In the meantime, hey, let's give a shout out to some of our international guests as well. She was in town for an event, and we got to get to know her a little bit better. She sent us a clip too, talking about Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang giving a special shout out to Kick to the Gut podcast and everyone over in Singapore. Thanks so much, my Zhang gangs.
I saw you smiled.
Hey.
You smiled a certain way when she popped up on the screen, huh?
Hey, bro, I smile for every guest. What are you talking about? What you just heard only, yeah?
Okay. I thought I noticed a little brighter smile, but maybe it's just me.
Bro, it's the beauty light, lah, bro.
Oh.
Hey, we gotta give a shout out to Zeta Zhang, man. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
It was pure coincidence that she got on the show, because I remember that it was the early episode that we did with Statement.
That's right.
And he came to our
studio.
The studio, right? And say, hey, you know, we got a wrestler that's gonna be part of our ladies' night event, which unfortunately we couldn't make it at that point in time. Both of us couldn't make it for the event, but we got to interview one of the international wrestlers, and it happened to be Zeta Zhang.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after the episode, some people who was listening were saying like, hey, she sounds a bit like Ronda Rousey a bit. Do you remember that?
A bit, yes.
Remember that comment? Yeah, but I came into the episode like not knowing much about Zeta Zhang. Only know about her appearance, as part of the Mae Young Classic in WWE.
That's right.
But since learning about her story, seeing her blow up, now she was the first female wrestler signed to MLW, Major League Wrestling.
Okay.
Which has a bunch of like really, really good talent there. D.H. Smith is there, the son of the American Bulldog is there.
American Bulldog?
American Bulldog, what the fuck?
Who the hell is the American Bulldog, bro?
Bro, I was thinking in my mind American Dragon. I was thinking, why I say American Dragon?
Yeah,
The British Bulldog's son is there. The son of the Von Erichs are there. MLW is I think they even have their own show online. So to see her blow up, I think it's really, really great. And we hope, bro, going forward, we get to interview, more international wrestlers.
Yeah.
Eventually, bro, your dream, right? Interview with Chris Jericho.
You mean again? Because I have interviewed him before, but it was a different time, very long time ago. I would love to. Have to throw it out
interview
there.
Chris Jericho.
Dolph Ziggler.
also.
Had to throw that out there. But okay, talking about a guy who is on the international stage, he has so many viewers on YouTube, and he turned out to be like the nicest guy, right? We're talking about Greg from Good Mic Work Commentaries. He was on one of our episodes as well. Here he is.
Kick to the Gut wrestling podcast coming in. Our friends from Singapore, 100th episode this week. Holy crap. They got a great podcast. I know you can listen to it on all the podcast sites, and they've recently started doing streaming on YouTube. They are great guys. They are positive guys. They are not filled with so much of the negativity and nonsense that you see all over wrestling YouTube and just wrestling IWC in general. So check those guys out. They're great.
Obviously, he's never heard me talk about the Young Bucks or Cody.
Hey, bro, but you see me smile. I smile white also, okay?
You smile, okay, like got twinkle.
I smile white also.
Because he inspires you, doesn't he?
He does. And I think it's one of the things that I never thought I would achieve by doing this podcast. Was to meet, and not say meet in person, but connect individually with one of my podcasting idols, wrestling podcasting idols. He was probably one of the first few wrestling YouTubers I got to know. And I think his opinions, the history that he has had with wrestling, bro, he has been at like major Attitude Era events live in person. He said he was there for the invasion angle. He was there for Survivor Series. He grew up a Bret Hart guy. He lived through the screw job, and I think it's awesome to know someone that it's like meeting a World War II veteran.
Alamak,
you know what I mean?
I don't believe you put it in those terms, but you know what it is to me is that he has amassed that following from doing exactly what we love to do, is talk and watch wrestling. So in a lot of ways, it is very inspiring to people like us who want to make this part of what we do as well.
Indeed, he has blazed the trail in that sense because, if you guys watch our interview with him, he talked about how when he started this podcast, he literally just got an iPhone. Just started recording his own thoughts on the product and put it up just for the shits and giggles of it, right? And it blew up, and he developed a community after that. And it got to a point where he said that, hey, he's actually earning income from this. He can actually have it as a second job. That's right. That is super inspiring for people like us, bro, because we want to be able to, able to earn a living talking about wrestling.
Well, hey, like he said, you got to up the game, the visuals and everything. So look at what we got. It's going to be a fun season 4. Let's just put it that way. Okay, let's move on with our top 10 interviews of Kick to the Gut. At number 5, it's an interview from season 2, episode 16. We did a Grapple Max Showcase 11 preview. And in the studio, we had Inglorious. I used Glorious by Bobby Roode, his entrance theme. But this was when, right after, they formed their brand new faction. It was a shocker.
Indeed.
Especially with, Remus, who had been a babyface for a long time. Who else? Wilson, also babyface for a long time. And then
all very
ENDBOSS.
Kwai boys. Yeah, very Kwai.
All the Kwai boys became the bad boys.
Bro, we were there, remember?
Yes.
And I remember it so clearly in my mind. It was the blow-off. It was the culmination of the Greg Glorious versus Smart Dave feud, right? They finally won, and I remember it just like as if it was yesterday. Greg had his hands raised, and suddenly he just like that, boom, turned on Smart Dave, and we were there in person. I think all our jaws dropped. And after that, remember DJ Carl came out, what the hell, what's wrong with you guys, blah, blah, blah. And then Remus came out, Wilson came out.
We thought they were there to just separate everybody. But no!
Oh, shit, do you remember that awesome RKO that Wilson did? I think that was like, fuck, this is like the authority, where Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, man. This is amazing. And we got the exclusive first interview right after that.
That's right. Definitely an epic moment. Talk about epic moments. At number 4, season 1, episode 9, we felt the 3 Sweet. Are we doing the 3 Sweet?
Indeed, 3 Sweet.
I mean, we heard from him earlier on the show already. SPWs, of course, Andrew, The Statement, Tang. We had him. We also talked about 20 years of Jeff Hardy in that same episode. But it was a trip to meet like the, first pro wrestler in Singapore, Mr. SPW himself.
You can't be the number 1 wrestling podcast without,
the first guy.
Being in cahoots with the number 1 pro wrestler in Singapore.
Why you say you like that, cahoots?
Because he's an evil man. So we gotta play up the evilness, right?
What, Piang? What evil?
Evil, like the New Japan evil.
Oh, okay, right. I mean, okay, what was this the first time you had met Andrew by then, or did you have interactions with him before?
It was a funny story, and if you remember the podcast episode, we talked about how his beginnings in the wrestling business, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I told this story before on air on the podcast, but actually the first ever time I talked to him or interacted with him was I wanted to buy a ticket for one of SPW's very, very first event in 2014.
Oh,
at the CC in Eunos, bro. That was how OG this was. And I remember that show very, very clearly because they had one international guest and you won't believe who he was. They actually got Johnny Wrestling himself. Johnny Gargano was on that show.
You told me about this before,
and I can't remember it was on air or I told you in person, right? But I remember the person that was liaising with me for the tickets turns out to be Statement. And I completely forgot about this. But when we reconnected, we reached out to him on the show. He came on the podcast. He brought it up. He was like, "Hey, bro, I think I have your number, bro.
Really?
You bought tickets for me before." Yeah.
Ah.
So he said he saved my number from that time.
Wow.
So that I guess that was like the first ever interaction I had with him. But ever since then, every time he's come on the show, it's very interesting because he always has stories with to share.
Yep.
Always talking about his connections.
Yeah.
Doing some business.
Yeah.
And I love that he's such an ambitious person in general. In spite of everything, maybe he definitely would have faced a lot of criticism, starting SPW, in the way like lasting all these years, dealing with probably backlash from the fans here and there with regards to like, hey, you always have international wrestlers coming in, blah blah blah, right? But I feel that his ambition to have like international wrestlers be part of a local show is I would say is admirable in a sense, because
let's face it, let's put it this way.
He thinks big.
I mean, you have to bring in the international stars to get the eyeballs so that people will watch the Singapore wrestlers, I mean, that has been the blueprint, I guess, or the way he's done it for a very long time, and it works because, like, remember the whole Kenny Omega, that
amazing,
right?
yes,
brought down so many people. A lot of them, they were like, "Oh yeah, we just came down for Kenny Omega," but at the same time, they're like, "Oh, actually, the Singapore wrestling scene is so strong. There's so much going on. Let's watch. Let's get involved. Let's get interested in SPW." So kudos to Andrew, for being that boy who loved pro wrestling like all of us, but he took that next step. He became a pro wrestler. He trained. He set up, with his partners, of course, SPW, and thus was born the Singapore wrestling scene. Scene.
I think if nothing else, his legacy would be kicking off this new this generation that we have right now, or it's even to the second or third generation already, where wrestling has become part of the community here in Singapore, when for the longest time it was non-existent.
That's right. Yeah.
So
to
much respect to the man.
To that we say 3 sweet and yeah. All right.
Indeed.
Let's move on well, we're going to skip 3 because we have a tie at number 2. Exact same number. And it is interesting. This tie is very interesting because last we left off in storyline, these two were feuding with each other. So it is very appropriate that they are tied at number 2 in terms of our top 10 most downloaded episodes.
Yeah, by the way, if people are asking like, hey, how you all choose select this one fair or not fair, this list, it's literally we are on this platform called Spreaker. Is that they do the analytics and they do the distribution for our podcast. So by uploading our podcast through this platform, it goes out to all our social streaming platforms that you listen
to, iTunes as well. So it's basically number of downloads. So let's get down to it. All right, at number 2, first of all, Season 1, Episode 13, we were talking about the best matches of 2018, but we also had, well, this is the part 1 of a 2-part interview with this guy.
Mr. Young, Orton, it feels like such a short time ago when the 3 of us were recording that epic 2-part podcast of Kick to the Gut. And now here you guys are recording your 100th episode of the podcast. Congratulations, and keep this up because pretty soon Kick to the Gut is going to be the ENDBOSS of pro wrestling podcasts here in the region and maybe the world.
The ENDBOSS of podcasts. I like that very much.
Indeed, it felt like Triple H was giving us a pep talk right there.
a bit.
ENDBOSS.
He was one of the first few people as well we actually sat down and spoke to, off camera. Remember we had that lunch at Millennia Walk.
Millennia Walk, yes, indeed. That was like the very first time we got to know him, right?
Yeah. And it's been one heck of a ride since then, huh?
Whoa, bro! What's there to say about Greg that I haven't said personally to him or on air? I remember this episode particularly that we are talking about is his first ever interview that he did on air with us, where the WrestleMania just came back from Japan. They did like an entire showcase at Shinkiba, right?
Shinkiba, yes.
Yeah. And when we talk about ambition as well, like Greg, his philosophy with Grapple Max, the way he approached wrestling, is also very, very admirable, man. He believes in the community of it, teaching, passing down knowledge, and you can see, from how Grapple Max does his business, how they run their school. It's such a positive environment there. Everyone has fun over there, and Greg really comes across as a guy who is a teacher, first and foremost.
Yes.
More like he has reached a point in his life, probably, bro, that he has transcended being like a veteran wrestler, or a guy who's chasing championships or that kind of stuff. He has become sensei, in the truest sense of the word. Even to someone like us, who just follow wrestling and we follow and we love the product as fans. I believe he's a sensei to someone like us as well, because I think the way his whole entire outlook on life, and remember learning his story where he quit his job, left SPW, created his own promotion, went to train in Vietnam, met Dick Togo, and it's such an inspiring story because it's a road less traveled. And I think whatever he has achieved is all down to his hard work, his consistency. And if no one else inspires us on consistency, Greg definitely does. You know what I mean?
Very well said. I couldn't have put it better myself. And fittingly enough, tied at number 2 with him, I guess the guy that in storyline right now he's feuding with, even though we haven't had much because of pandemic things, right? But
yes. On hold.
Yeah, also at number 2 from season 1, episode 29, we talked about the WWE Superstar Shake-Up, but we also had...
Yo, Kick to the Gut, it is I, Grapple Max's resident party starter, DJ Carl. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I had a wonderful time chatting with you guys. Happy 100 episodes. You guys have done so much for the local pro wrestling scene. Keep it up. Here's to 1 million more episodes. Until then, stay safe.
Party in his rooms, with the lights and everything. I love it. So
bro, he got a club in his own room, bro. I'm so jealous.
That's why. DJ Cal in the house, and
yeah, man.
Yeah, like I said, very fitting that he's in here at number 2, tied with Greg.
Well, okay. First of all, I wanna preface this by saying I was looking at, I think I happened to came across his IG stories today, and he was talking about how he has interns for the first time, at his current job, and he says like the scariest thing ever, because he said he's never led someone before.
Okay.
And then I was thinking to myself, I beg to disagree, DJ Cal.
Okay.
You are the ace of Grapple Max, and everyone, when I talk to them, they always say, hey, I really look up to DJ Carl. He always push us. I won't say who said this lah. Later they might say or what lah. Like he's always pushing us in training and all that. He leads by example. And I can see why, like the higher echelons, the higher ups in Grapple Max chose to put him, like in a very prominent spot. I think he's the kind of guy. Again, I want to use a football analogy lah.
Okay.
He reminds me of Steven Gerrard a bit.
Why? Okay,
why? Let me give you an example. Because Steven Gerrard has been the captain of Liverpool during his period where they weren't as successful. They won like a couple of European Cups, but they were always like the nearly team.
Right.
But he literally set an example. He wasn't like the most vocal guy, like those type of rah-rah captain. Yeah. He's literally like, I'm gonna take the game by the scruff of the neck, and I'm gonna score the winning goal.
Right.
I'm gonna drag this team, over the line.
Leads by example, lah.
Indeed. And I can see, you are a leader in the truest sense of the word, man, DJ Carl. It's just that you don't know it yet, or like maybe you need a reminder.
Yeah.
But I feel that your, if nothing else, bro, your dedication. How you work out, how you perform in the ring. And I remember I really loved the episode because he talked about his DJing background.
Yes.
Yeah. So and I love listening to people who have so many different passions in life, and yet they still put in 100%, in whatever they do. So it's a very inspiring story.
That's high praise from Foreign in the building. Now, before we move on to our number one most listened to episode on our journey on Kick to the Gut 100, let's talk about our craziest episode. Of course, it had to be a Halloween episode. And I'm sure you remember this one. To be honest, I didn't know where the episode was going to go. Were we going to go full tilt? Were we going to go maybe a little bit, kayfabe, a little bit not kayfabe? But if anything, that episode did not disappoint. And I know for sure we both love this guy for what he puts, like his effort that he puts into his character work.
Sorry.
We lost Foreign for a second.
I was stretching. Stretching.
Your birthday is coming. I'm going to get you a proper stand. How about that?
I was stretching my leg, then apparently connected to my wire.
You kicked to the gut, huh? You kicked your phone.
I literally kicked my phone. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you know who we're talking about right now. Craziest episode awards has to go to Daniel.
Hello, Kick to the Gut. This is Daniel, and I want to wish you guys a happy 100th episode. I mean, you guys are really awesome. I mean, you guys gave me the first ever interview that I've ever done, and I'm really grateful for that memory. And I always okay, man, what do you want? What do you want? Well, I'm just going to interrupt your video because I am the Singapore champion. Okay, fine, you're the champion. Mr. Young and Foreign, congratulations on 100 episodes. You guys will always be my delicious fam.
Delicious fam.
I love it, man. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
this guy,
you talk about a guy who's put so much into character, and we often talk about committing to the character, right? Because sometimes certain characters can be over the top, they can be hokey, but and the wrestlers themselves might know it, and then you see them like sort of don't commit to it 100%, and therefore it doesn't come across. But then you see someone like the Butcherman, Daniel, who puts 110% into his character, so much so that you're like, okay, you know what? I can get into it. And now he's doing these interviews, he's splicing these videos. Man, he's taking his game to the next level. That's why he's Singapore champion right now.
Bro, can I say that he is SPW's Mick Foley, bro, at this point?
Yeah,
he is,
sure.
It's not just the multiple personalities. I think he is such a great underdog. There's just something about him that you just want to root for him. Even when he was playing heel, even when he was with the Horrors, I think people just love his commitment to the role.
Yes.
And when you talk about this particular episode, when we had a Halloween countdown last year, bro, I didn't realize how sexual we would get. There was a lot of talking about beating up meat and devouring my ass. From what I remembered.
It is what it is. Like I said, he went into his character 110%. You cannot fault him for that.
And when we talk about how the podcast actually is a great feedback for the wrestlers, there was one thing that he said to me after the show. He reached out and he said that he wanted to thank us because we were the first platform to give a long form interview, to him,
right?
And it allowed him to explore his character. And he said that actually inspired him to do this recent series of Butcherman interviews that he's been doing.
Oh, right.
So it's really awesome because I feel like shows like Talking Smack or like the Raw after show, where I believe that is when WWE is at its best because it's really off the cuff. The wrestlers have the framework of like their character. Okay, now go in as your character, cut your promos, interact with the host, and see what kind of magic you can make. And I hope that this is where the podcast is also able to thrive. If this is an opportunity for the younger wrestlers, in the future, whoever's gonna come on the show, they want to work on their character, they want to, develop their own storytelling. We are perfect. We are the perfect kind of like a
proving
sponge
ground.
Proving ground, maybe like
Stage.
a lamppost for you to act off.
So wait,
why not?
What you're saying is from now on, all our guests will be in character?
No, not necessarily. I'm saying that, hey, if you want to if you want to test yourself out, in terms of handling yourself with whether it's the media or whether it's talking to people in general. There's a lot of wrestlers who are very shy guys, very shy people, shy gals as well. Why not? We are here to break the ice for you guys.
And we're super nice guys as well. We won't, put you on the spot. Well,
bro, usually right when guys always say we are very nice, usually we're hiding something.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
No.
Okay, well, talking about nice guys, the number one, we are here at number one. Woo! Right now, in our top 10,
the champs.
Yes, top 10 interviews of our 100 episode run. And this one, we had two guests. We did a WWE TLC review as well, season 1, episode 12. And wow, like I said, talking about nice guys, it's fitting that I have the color purple also in my background because one of our guests is a huge fan of the color purple. He is also the cryptoweight champion of the world. He is the Lady Killer.
Kick to the gut. Congrats on 100 episodes, and thanks for always letting GrappleMax guys get on your show.
He kept that one super short and sweet, by the way.
Bro, you know why not? Because we're not ladies.
Oh,
so you got no time for us,
Yeah, the ladies, she's a lady killer. He will spend more time with the ladies, huh?
Correct. Very business-like with the men.
And together with Lady Killer, we had, before, actually, when he came on the show first, right? He wasn't fully formed yet. He hadn't gotten his grade. What grade was it?
Grade 3.
Yeah, he hadn't gotten his grade 3 yet. But now, of course, he is Showtime.
Kick to the Gut podcast, 100 episodes. Wow, amazing. At least one of you two jokers is doing something right behind the scenes. Now, as much as I would love to stay and chat and cut an epic promo on you guys, I've got a lot more important things to do. So stay safe, and the next time I see you guys, it's showtime.
I've always enjoyed his character work, even right from the start. The first time we saw him at the GrappleMax event, the one where I was wearing the glasses indoors, I'm sure you remember. Yes. But that was because I just had LASIK. By the way, I wasn't trying to be cool. I know he was looking at me going, why is this fella wearing his sunglasses at night indoors? What an ass.
I believe he called you a douchebag. I think he did.
Yeah. There was a reason, okay? Anyway, the point is, Val, aka Showtime.
I'm wearing my belt in honor of him because he was carrying his belt as well.
Yours a bit small, bro.
A bit, because it's a fake ass belt. Anyway,
belt envy going on.
Bro, Showtime, man. I love how again he is one of the best heels that GrappleMax has. Every time he's interacting with the crowd, it's very, very hilarious. It's really, really funny. He's a throwback heel, bro, in the best sense of the word. But in person, he's one of the nicest, coolest, and I would say sweetest guys out there. It's a lot of
bro, don't spoil his gimmick, lah. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Showtime, he's an ass. He's a douchebag.
He's a total jerk, man. Come on, what are you talking about?
Okay. I won't break kayfabe for him, lah. Give him a bit of reputation still, lah.
That's why.
Okay, but the reason, and I believe this is my theory, why this episode was like the most highest rated episodes, and I think it did like over like almost 250 downloads around there. I believe it's because it's our most uncensored.
Oh yes.
Most unrated.
Did you have to put the explicit tag on it?
Probably, bro. I think there was a lot of dating stories being told, a lot of nonsense, a lot of innuendos, and I think having both of them together, having the Lady Killer and having Showtime, with us, I think 4 guys, talking about wrestling and other things. It's a recipe for disaster, and I think it's in the most fun sense of the word.
That's right.
Probably that's why.
And there you go. We have your top 10 interviews of our run here on Kick to the Gut, 100 episodes in. I mean, okay, looking back on our 100 episodes, right? I'm sure there are episodes that stand out to you.
Yes, indeed.
Ones that, we hold dear to our hearts. Obviously, I go back to our very first episode when we didn't really know what we were doing. We were like, okay, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? You just came back from Super Showdown in Australia. We're like, okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead. And I think that this applies to every facet of life, right? If you want to do something, you don't have to do it perfectly. to steal Nike's tagline, just do it first. And then
Just
along the
start.
way, exactly, just start, right? If you try to do everything perfectly, 100%, you'll never get started.
Indeed. And I dare anyone listening right now to go back and listen back to our first episode and see how much we've grown, or you can point out like how pathetic how bad it was. I mean, Mr. Young definitely can't say much lah. You are a professional,
No lah.
in broadcasting.
It's a different animal altogether from a short form, because on radio it's like, I'm talking for a minute and I'm out of there, going back to the music, to we are straight up talking for 2 hours, 3 hours with content and talking about things that we enjoy. So I mean, to me this has always been more fun than work. I mean, sometimes we have to set things up, for example, our brand new beautiful overlay, stuff like that. You got to put in the work, because once you, and if you know me, I'm a little bit of a stickler for visuals lah. So.
Yeah. And it reminds me of this past summer when Undertaker was he was on his media run promoting his documentary, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people was talking about how he always says, and then Undertaker, I think a couple of interviews later, he said that he's very, very cognizant of the fact that he hasn't done any sort of like shoot interviews in person with other people outside of his character, and he realized that he's really, really nervous, that he's not used to this, and he can cut like a promo in Undertaker mode, short words, very concise, but like when you ask him to talk in depth, open up, and now I'm saying it becomes you develop certain habits out of fear, or you're unsure how to go about it, and that's why you develop all these like habits. And probably in broadcasting,
they're what we would call crutch words lah. So words that you say to fill up the time because you're scared of not having something to say. It's totally natural, but it's something that we all have to pay attention to.
So apparently mine is for sure.
For sure. No, but it's become your thing now, so it's fine.
Is it? How do you think my journey as so-called a broadcaster has been? You have seen me from day one. How do you think it's been?
You're definitely more confident when we talk about these topics. I mean, you always had the knowledge. It was just, I think maybe you were wondering, can I do this? This is, we're putting out a product, right? You're definitely 100% more confident than our very first episode, which is wonderful. I mean, to see you grow in that way, and see you grow in many other ways as well. Get your head out of the gutter, by the way. And talking about growth, who would have thought that one of us would actually get in the ring or on the mat and do a pro wrestling match as well? So, okay, especially for you, and if
my god, I gotta do this.
Yes,
I really gotta do this.
If you've listened to the show before and you're like, man, these guys talk a lot of shit, but can they back it up? Well, foreign in the building was Marina Bay Sands, and he had a match with Lady Killer. Here are some of the highlights.
I should have won, man. Damn it.
What do you remember about that match? What were you thinking? How were you feeling?
Okay, bro. You know what's the thing that stands out the most from my memory of that match is I believe it was quite a short match. It was probably like 8 minutes. Didn't even go over 10.
Yep.
But by the 3rd or 4th minute, I was so blown up. I was so and this is after like months of training, preparing for this match.
Yes.
But the actual, I think whether it's the adrenaline, whether it was like, being super nervous on the hours leading up to the show, whether it was trying to remember the moves, or like the first time taking like a bump or taking a punch from Lady Killer that probably knocked me silly or what, I do not know. But I remember blowing up. I was like breathing really heavily. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to finish the match? I can barely walk right now. I can't even barely catch my breath.
Right.
And that is the thing that it's so amazing, right? How, imagine, bro, wrestlers doing an hour Iron Man match, for example, an hour Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of cardio that you need, the amount of ring shape that you need to be able to last a match. Not just taking the bumps. Yes, the bumps are painful here and there, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to be in constant motion, doing your sequences, man, you need to be an athlete, man. Even those big guys, probably those like 400 pounders, 500 pounders. Imagine at their size trying to keep up the match. So like, you gotta respect people like Mighty, for example. Some of the bigger guys, because you require a level of cardio to be able to pull off a wrestling match in general.
Yeah. I mean, people like Yokozuna, Rikishi, they are literally carrying more weight around, and the fact that they can go for the amount of time that they can is kudos to them. And I mean, obviously it was your first match, so yeah, nerves definitely do play a part. So you probably weren't breathing as per normal. So maybe your second match won't be quite as nerve-wracking, Foreign. When is that happening?
Wait. First of all, bro, you left something out from the clip, bro.
What are you talking about?
Did I miss out something? I'm pretty sure you didn't show the amazing bump, or I wouldn't even call it a bump, bro. I don't think it qualifies as a bump even.
Okay, so that's why we always say that we respect pro wrestlers for what they do, because something as simple as a back bump, if you don't train it, if you don't do it over and over again, you'll forget. Because yes, in that match there was a spot where I wanted to stand up for my bro. I wanted to stand up for Foreign, right? And it led to essentially the worst spear bump in the history of spear bumps. Check it out. Again.
Yes, rewind it and slow-mo it.
Okay, we got another angle, by the way.
Another angle. Alright. Bro, what happened?
So, okay, funnily enough, it ended up looking very painful, but I didn't feel anything at all.
Light as a feather, bro.
Light as a feather. So kudos to Lady Killer. And obviously I was supposed to flop backwards, but I don't know why. I just flopped forward and it looked very painful. Everyone was so concerned, like, hey, did it hurt? Did it hurt?
I think, right, it was even better than the fact that you flopped like that. I think it was.
Maybe it made it look real, So I mean, more real than real. So whatever. But like I said, worst spear cell in the history of spear cells.
I think, right, that itself, that spot itself needs a encore, bro.
Encore? What encore?
I think you need to take another spear bump in the ring again.
Oh gosh, okay, sure. Maybe I should be the one giving a spear.
Ooh, are you saying that you want to get into the ring? Hey, Guru.
No
call
time.
Mr. Young out.
No, bro, no time to train. This is like legit stuff. You have to train properly for it. So don't try this at home.
To answer your question, whether I'll get back in the ring. Well, we got some people calling me out already. As Paul Heyman say, bro. If the money is right.
Oh, the money. Stop it, bro.
If the business is booming.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, right now it's pandemic time, so business not really booming.
So, I'm ready to put the hurt on the business.
Stop it, bro. Stop it. You're making me cringe. Okay, there we have it. We're wrapping up our top 10 interviews. But we still have more stuff to talk about, as you can see from the wrestlers that are surrounding our overlay right now. In fact, you know what is really, really ironic?
What?
All the wrestlers you see on the screen right now, they are the only matches that have been announced so far. Like what?
No, not really. Not really.
Yeah, go and look at the card. Okay, if you're seeing this on Saturday, we haven't watched SmackDown yet, so we don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown. Obviously, they're going to announce stuff on SmackDown, but as of right now, Friday afternoon/evening, there's only been 4 matches announced, bro. 4, and you see all of them on the screen right now.
You're talking about the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso has also been announced, right, officially as
Oh
well.
yeah, that one was announced quite a while ago. So let's just go through the card real quick. It's
Sure,
not going to be a
let's run
long
through.
one because, like I said, only 4 matches have been announced. I'm going to assume on SmackDown they're going to throw in Aleister Black and Kevin Owens. They need some other matches in there. Rey Mysterio, Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins, some sort of a combination. So maybe even Murphy versus Rollins.
Yeah, they should. Murphy
yeah.
deserves the airtime.
Exactly, and it's a new match, finally, right? But it almost seems like Hell in a Cell just revolves around the 3 cell matches. The rest are just,
Filler,
yeah.
course.
And the fact that they haven't even announced them says as much. Okay, Jeff Hardy versus Elias. Jeff Hardy is back. Elias is pissed off because he still thinks Jeff Hardy ran him over for whatever reason.
But can I say one thing, bro? I actually not low-key, bro. I high-key enjoyed Elias's full-fledged performance on Raw this past week.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that he's super talented and charismatic on the mic.
Bro, I think he can become the new Billy Ray Cyrus, man. Can be like Old Town Road already, bro.
I think so. You know what it is though? Like with this feud, I'm afraid that Jeff Hardy comes out looking like crap in this feud because when he was standing there with the hoodie and everything, I'm like, that's Jeff Hardy. And then when he unveiled himself, I'm like, yep, that's Jeff Hardy. And then we whack him, I'm like, yawn. I just didn't feel anything about.
You know what? You know what is the connection that they should play off of?
What's
and
that?
I think they touched on it a bit. I mean, both of them are musicians, right?
Oh, right.
And I think Jeff Hardy probably likes Elias because, hey, I like your music, that kind of thing. I feel that if they could play up the music aspect of it. Remember maybe like back in the day 15 years ago when John Cena had that rivalry with Chris Jericho and it was rock versus rap?
Yes.
Yeah, they were talking about how, tonight's performance, Fozzy is going to face off against John Cena's and John Cena had a full performance of his song, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, because here's what I feel like Elias is more of like a country singer, more of like a Willie Nelson kind of crooner, right? And Jeff Hardy is more of that alternative, that grunge, that more of that kind of vibe. And I think that is a very, very interesting dynamic that they can play off of,
And in terms of a feud, it is something fresh for Jeff Hardy. It's not about the whole, he ran him over, he was drunk, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Your suggestion is a great idea because I feel like it makes the feud fresh again. And if anything, maybe it gives a different angle on Jeff Hardy because right now, I am done. I am done with Jeff Hardy. Nothing he does is interesting to me.
And right, bro. And I don't think it's his fault. This is an unpopular opinion. But I actually think Jeff Hardy was more creatively fulfilled in TNA. Some of his best character work was actually in TNA because when he went to TNA, he was part of Immortal. He became a heel champion. I think for the first time in his entire career, up to that point, he turned heel. And he wasn't in WWE, he turned heel in TNA because WWE still wants to use Jeff Hardy as this, a very inspiring guy, overcome the odds, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But in TNA, not only did he play up his creative side, he had he went to the dark side, he became Brother Nero. He had the Willow angle, where he created like this crazy-ass demonic character, alter ego.
Okay, so how long till he joins Matt Hardy in AEW? Because clearly it's not working for him in WWE anymore. AEW will probably give him more leeway to be silly. And speaking of Matt Hardy, by the way, just quick mention, it looks like the broken Matt Hardy is coming back at Full Gear.
Indeed. They just make an announcement that they're having a deletion match, right?
Yeah, something with Sammy Guevara.
Elite deletion.
Yeah, we need to get to Chris Jericho and MJF's freaking singing number in just a bit.
Yes, we will. Yeah, but just to wrap up about Jeff Hardy, I believe that there is one feud that he needs to have that I believe would bring out that creative side of him.
Okay.
And the same guy is on Raw as well.
Fiend,
so why not? There's the Fiend.
Well, we'll see if he's, he comes out on top. And by on top, I mean if he gains any notoriety or gains any heat after this whole Elias thing. Because right now, I look at this feud, I'm like, it's just all Elias. I don't see this building any heat for Jeff Hardy at all.
I actually can't wait for Elias's album to drop. Is it going to be an album or EP? The
I don't
Living
know.
Truth.
Yeah.
The Living Truth, bruh.
Isn't it the Universal Truth? Or the
Is it
Living
the Universal Truth?
I
No,
forget.
Universal Truth. I think it's
Universal,
the
yeah,
Universal.
yeah. So yeah,
Well,
that's going to be fun.
Whatever it is, I'm buying because I low-key actually downloaded his previous EP. He released like an EP 2 years ago,
right,
in 2018.
Right.
Yeah, it was actually quite amazing. I think he was talking about like how he hates every town he was in. So
It
I'm
works,
a fan. I'm a fan.
It works when the character and what he does in real life fits so perfectly. It's just a beautiful marriage. Okay, let's move on. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Hell in a Cell. Here we go. This is the big one. This is Sasha Banks' crowning moment. They're going to put on an awesome match. We already know that. This is Bayley's first time in Hell in a Cell too.
Yes, and that is where the advantage to Sasha Banks is more prominent, right?
Yeah.
First of all, Sasha has been in 2 Hell in a Cell matches and with 2 top-level opponents. One in Charlotte in 2016, one with Becky Lynch last year.
Yes.
And I would say, bro, disagree with me if you think so. Her matches are the best women's Hell in a Cell matches ever.
Well,
I mean, there's not a lot to choose from.
Yeah, there's not a lot to choose from, so it's like, it's a low
yeah,
bar.
but I would say it's even better than some men's matches. Like, obviously, come on, like they definitely beat last year's Seth Rollins and Fiend.
Yeah.
They definitely beat Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman.
Sure.
So, and I think we didn't expect it to be as violent, but it was. And I think you can attribute that to a lot of Sasha Banks' creativity. I think probably she had a lot of input in some of the spots, the very creative spots that they use.
Where does this leave them after? So, okay, obviously this has to be the end of the feud, right? It's Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks wins the title finally, vanquishes Bayley. Does Bayley take a break after this?
I believe she should. I believe she should. What's your thoughts on this? Because for me, Bayley, even as a role model, has run her course in a bit. Not that it's not. I don't know whether it's stale, but it's kind of like she kind of achieved and accomplished everything she could with this role.
I feel like now's the time to lose and then come back with something fresh. She's at the peak of. She's not stale yet, but I don't see where the next level is for her role model character. So, in that sense, yes, I agree that yes, she needs to lose the belt, go away for a while, and come back with something fresh.
I really hope Sasha Banks not annihilate her but like end her in a way that she has to go away for a while, like really do a crazy ass bump where she basically dies So, you're like, okay, she's dead. Okay, go away for a while.
Given the two talents as well, I think we can expect a good match. It's just where does the storyline proceed from there? And I think it's Sasha Banks' time to run the SmackDown division. Bayley has run it for a very long time already.
This is my hope. I hope that it can surpass their NXT Brooklyn match in 2015.
Yes.
And that was just a straight up one-on-one match. But they did some crazy ass bumps. Remember they had like this reverse Karana that they did. And I remember I was watching the I can't remember which show on the WWE Network, but they broke down the match. That was them having the reverse characters of what they are now.
Right.
Because Sasha was the heel boss and Bayley was the lovable hugger. Yeah. So now that the tables are turned, I believe that they themselves want to prove to us that hey, this is a bigger stage. This is like the main roster. Hell in a Cell. We're gonna go guns blazing.
We don't know which one will be the last match of the night. So this one definitely deserves to be the last match, like the quote unquote main event. Though.
Really? In your opinion?
I feel so, yeah. I mean, okay, to be fair though, all the 3 Hell in a Cell matches have very strong storylines going in. And what I'm also worried is that it's 3 Hell in a Cell matches. It seems like a lot. You know what I mean?
There is a precedent for this though. I mean, like some of the other Hell in a Cell events, there has been like 3 matches.
Hasn't it been 2 max? I don't remember 3.
I can't remember. I can't give you an exact pay-per-view. You see, this decade, my knowledge not as good. My previous decade is better.
Sure.
But I would say that the best way to spread it out is to have one Hell in a Cell as the opening match, one in the middle of the card, obviously, and one at the end. So if you want to follow that, I would like to think that And this is quite unfortunate, but Sasha and Bayley could be the one opening the pay-per-view.
You know, that's exactly what I thought. The second you brought it up, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. So Sasha and Bayley in the front. I would say Jey Uso and Roman Reigns in the middle. Because let's face it, like, this is not... I don't want to see a competitive match. Much like the previous one, I want to see Jey Uso die. Okay, not literally die, but Roman Reigns, because we know where this is going. Roman Reigns is being built as this mafia boss, monster, heel, bad guy, whatever. He needs to annihilate Jey and make him say, I quit. In such a horrific, barbaric fashion. Like paint his blood on his chest or some shit like that. We need that visual. You know?
Yeah, he needs that. That's I think that's what Brock Lesnar did to Undertaker back in 2002.
Yes.
And that was an awesome visual because it signified like a changing of the guard.
Correct. No, but in this case, it's not a changing of the guard. It's like anointing who is the tribal chief, as it were.
I want Roman Reigns to beat Jey Uso so bad that he becomes his servant after this.
Oh my God! What?
Beat him into servitude.
Okay.
I think because that's the storyline I'm running with. I want the Usos to... Okay, this is a total Black Panther rip-off lah.
Yeah.
So
to be reluctant, sort of.
So Roman Reigns is that evil killmonger who came to reclaim the throne, and then against everyone's against the family's wishes, and he eventually got the throne, and he's this evil king, and everyone got no choice but to serve him.
Sure.
So I think probably like they will make Jey Uso say, I quit. Not only just say I quit, he will say, acknowledge me as the tribal chief. And he finally does.
Yeah.
And his spirit is broken. And then he becomes like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna be a servant. Fuck that shit.
Then what? When Jimmy comes back, he becomes the challenger.
I don't know, but I know where the story is gonna end, and as in the ending that everyone wants. But how it's gonna get there, I want WWE to surprise me.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
WWE, that's your job.
Then this is the reason I put this at the end, because this seems like the conclusion to this feud, right? Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell. Even though it is not the I Quit match, but it logically it should be the end of it already, right?
Here's what I want to see happen. I want this to be like how Batista ended his rivalry with Triple H.
Okay.
He went 3-0. He had like the WrestleMania 21 match. He had a Backlash rematch, and then Triple H didn't want to accept defeat. He was like, "Fuck this! I want to do Hell in a Cell." And at that point in time, Triple H hasn't lost in Hell in a Cell at all.
Right.
So it was like, okay, this is my trump card. Like, you're gonna fight me in Hell in a Cell because this is the match that I own. I never lost in it. And then Batista, they had a competitive match, but Batista eventually won and basically clean sweep beat Triple H 3-0, and Triple H essentially put over the new talent, right?
Right.
And I believe that this is what Randy is gonna do. Yeah, Randy had there was a moment in the feud where I thought that, okay, Randy might win and they might trade titles.
Yeah.
But now that I see, I think they want to, especially coming fresh out of the draft, I think WWE wants to really, really double down and establish Drew McIntyre as the number one guy. And I see that being the case going forward. Like, I want Drew to walk into Survivor Series as a champion with a new challenger. Randy will do all he can to like give a crazy ass fight, but he's eventually going to go down. He's going to put over the new talent, because I think that's what Randy does. One thing that you can't call out Randy on is that the fact that he's selfish, because especially in this decade, he has been so unselfish in putting over new talent. So
I mean, at this point, he doesn't need to be winning titles or anything like that, right? And, he still has the built-in feud with Edge. If Edge can come back for WrestleMania, that's where they can go with that. And yes, Drew still needs some time to, season and make him that dominant, long-lasting champion. Who is he going to face next, though? The landscape of Raw is quite interesting now that, the Fiend is there. Apparently, Fiend Retribution, they have a thing. I guess that puts a cap on Hell in a Cell. It's going to be an exciting pay-per-view, to say the least, right? I'm definitely, going to watch it, but it feels like a 3-match pay-per-view. As in the 3 cell matches. The rest are like, I don't even know what is happening.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting because when you mentioned the Fiend doesn't have a match on the show, and it's one of the hottest angles going forward, right?
Well, to be fair though, the Fiend and Retribution, they just started. So where is this going? And a lot of people are complaining that Retribution got buried on Raw.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we can touch on it in a bit, but what I wanted to say was, and I know when I mentioned it on our previous episodes, but the next challenger that I really, really want, but it will take some time because they need to build him up again. You know, I really want Drew McIntyre to have a feud with Sheamus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We
Sheamus
talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this last week and their connection. We saw it in the WWE 24 show.
Yeah. Correct. Sheamus is on Raw right now, and I know he's on the level where he just like lost to Big E, so he's like that tag team level. But now that he's on Raw and he's separated from Cesaro, I believe that I think this is probably even Drew would have requested it. Like, hey, one of the feuds that I want to fight with is Sheamus as well. If they can make Dolph Ziggler go from SmackDown losing to jobbing out to Otis and then straightaway challenge Dolph Ziggler at Extreme Rules, why can't they do that for Sheamus, right?
Yeah. I do see that happening, but I also see it as a short-term feud to just get Drew to the next thing.
I think it's fine. I think that he can be a 2-month feud where he's a Survivor Series, TLC, and then, why not?
There you go. Okay, now that does it for our Hell in a Cell preview. Okay, very quickly, let's talk about Retribution. I know a lot of people, like I said earlier, are complaining that they got buried. I feel like we need to give it time to see where they are going with it. Of course, the Fiend is going to come in and destroy them. You don't expect Retribution to beat up the Fiend, do you?
Yeah. Do you feel that the reveal of the SmackDown hacker by Mustafa Ali was a bit anticlimactic though?
Yeah, like it was like a throwaway. Oh yeah, by the way, that was me. Because
I didn't like that.
It's quite obvious they didn't have anything for it. They weren't going to wrap it up, so it's like, okay I just say it in one statement, at least to close the loop.
It's good that they acknowledge that it was Mustafa Ali because he is obviously the perfect choice to be the SmackDown hacker. But I wish like they planned this in such a way that the story of the SmackDown hacker links directly to Retribution.
Bro, we know
there was
that
a missing gap there.
We know that they don't plan these things in advance. It was a very high possibility that there was nobody in line to be the hacker, and then now they're just, okay, by the way, just wrap up that angle.
It's as disappointing as the higher power reveal to be Vince McMahon. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, at least they revealed it. GTV people still don't know who it was.
Yeah. Okay. This is just a bit of a sidetrack. Like in that era, right, like 1999, when they had a higher power angle, was you watching then? Do you remember like what was the speculation? Like who could he have been? Like were they naming like potential wrestlers
I forget.
to be revealed as a high power?
To be honest, I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember the moment where it was me, Austin. It was me all along. So I don't hate that angle as much as you do. It was just, to me, it was like, it's Vince versus Austin again. It was that sort of a feeling.
Do you know? Okay, this was what I remembered from reading the dirt sheets as usual. At that point in time, a lot of people were talking about wrestlers making their return to WWF,
right?
As the higher power. So they were talking about maybe like a defection from WCW,
right?
Talking about like big names like Randy Savage returning, even someone from NWO, could be a Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. But the one that was really, really interesting, and it would have tied years of storylines, into that reveal, and it would have been an awesome reveal, was a lot of people thought it was going to be Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes.
Because it was like
Austin 316 came from the whole, King of the Ring thing.
So imagine, I think I can't remember who was saying it. I think I watched one of the YouTube videos, and like the theory was the storyline was going to be Jake the Snake was plotting for years for his revenge.
Yeah.
Because in the 4 years since, the Jake lost the King of the Ring, at that point in time, he was being this good guy, like Bible thumper kind of guy, right? Then the storyline was going to be like, in these 4 years, I fell back into my drugs, into my addiction. I was bent on revenge. And it was going to be like a short-term feud, like, it's like how Bob Backlund came back and put over Bret Hart like that.
Yeah.
So it was going to be, like just a quick 3-month feud at the Survivor Series, and then they were still going to run the car incident angle running over Stone Cold. That was still going to happen. So it was just going to lead up to that.
Yep.
But that showed creativity, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would have been awesome, bro. Now that you mention it, only in our fantasies. Anyway,
but you're right. Mustafa Ali is actually the perfect reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish the story that led to the reveal was like, whoa, yeah, I can see the connection. It's amazing. Yeah.
Do you think that Retribution is losing steam? I feel like it is a little bit.
I would go back to your statement. You have to give it time because
well, okay.
No matter how sucky the storyline is, I trust the talent of Mustafa Ali. Like, he's gonna make it work.
At first, when they started the whole Retribution thing where the lights would go out, they would destroy everything, right? It felt like a main event faction, but now it feels like a mid-card faction at best.
I mean,
do you agree?
If the Fiend can single-handedly beat out all of Retribution, then obviously it's gonna be up 20% left on my phone.
Okay, we're gonna wrap things up anyway, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean because
if the Fiend can like basically rimbat all of them, whack all of them, then that just shows where they are on the pool, right?
And interestingly enough, too, like there's still the link with the Hurt Business, so there's still a story to tell. I'm just a bit curious as to why the Fiend got involved with them and not somebody else to begin with.
You heard about the news that Mercedes Martinez is no longer part of the faction, right?
Yeah. So, like, why? What happened?
They only have Maya Yim in it. I do not know whether it was a creative decision. They decided, okay lah. Maybe she has more stories to tell in NXT.
Right.
But actually, I really like the idea though. I really like that because Mia Yim is younger. And I believe that there is an opportunity to push her to even women's title contention, like not before Alexa Bliss, of course. I would love her to now with her current storyline be part of the.
What about Lana? She's the number one contender. Lana, gosh. Anyway, let's.
If Lana was spelled backwards, that's what I think of her.
Oh my god, I never thought about it like that. Okay, with that, let's jump to AEW real quick before we wrap things up. We have to talk about the singing number between MJF and Chris Jericho.
Oh my god.
Okay, when I watched it, right, I was like, Chris Jericho's having fun. They're goofing off, and part of me wants to like it. Maybe I shouldn't be I shouldn't have a stick up my ass and just say, you know what? I thought it was kind of entertaining. But there's another part of me that is like, oh, this is damn lame. This is super not sports presentation.
So in the end, what's the overriding feeling then?
I'm confused, and maybe that's a good thing. I'm confused. I don't know whether to like it or hate it or whatever. So, but we're talking about it. People are talking about it.
When I put up the Instagram story post saying that AEW, we're gonna be a sports-based presentation, and then also AEW. This thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying it in jest because I think clearly, and I've read interviews, that the Young Bucks and Cody did when they were promoting like their 1 year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
They acknowledged their mistake of trying to pigeonhole AEW.
Yeah. No. It's quite obvious if you watch the product that they're moving away from the quote-unquote sports-based presentation. Kudos to them. Yeah, they've admitted their mistake and they are tweaking their stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that they acknowledge, as in the only use of the sports statistics, is like obviously the win-loss record that they put at the bottom, and they can use it as like certain quirks lah. Like you know how when back in the day, not even back in the day, even currently right now, SmackDown on Fox, when they have like the wrestlers come into the ring, they will have like a list of their accolades. Oh, he was a former time champion, blah blah. Yeah, like those little wrinkles, I think, does add to the presentation. Like, Kenny Omega is apparently like 21-0 this year or something, and then overall record, whatever it is, that like makes me like, oh, okay, this guy is more of like the boss wrestler. Okay, then even that little detail, I think is good enough.
Sure,
you don't have to.
They don't need a ranking. They don't need number one contender is Forget about all that because you have your tournaments, blah blah blah. Speaking of Kenny Omega, I am enjoying his presentation now. He comes out.
He's seen his entrance.
Yeah, he's so disingenuous. It's great. He's smarmy, right? Like, and then the way he basically trashed
Sunny
Kiss, and then after that he's like pat him on the back like, oh, good try. Like you're like, ooh, chef's kiss. I like this Kenny Omega very much.
Did you see Butcher Man's overlay that he did?
Yeah, he did. That was hilarious.
Okay, this is. And also shout out to another guy, and we haven't mentioned him in a while. But Farikin is a huge New Japan guy. Every time I look at his Insta stories, he always educates me on Japanese wrestling somehow.
Okay.
But he's a huge fan of Omega, and he told me, before that he didn't like Omega's presentation on AEW, but he understands why he's doing that. Like, he understands that year one was him establishing other talents, and year two is gonna be the year of Omega, and this is Omega playing up to what brought him to the table. Omega was the best. The best time when he was in New Japan was when he was the leader of the Bullet Club, and in his initial phase as the smarmy douchebag heel. Because when he was a heel in in New Japan, he was the only gaijin that talks in English to piss off the Japanese fans.
Right.
He will literally say things like, I am going to speak in English right now so that none of you can understand what I say and you don't have any right to know what I have to say. Something like that. Yeah. So it's a very healing thing to know. But what made him very interesting to watch at that point in time was that he was very, very aware of how good he is, and he used that as like a storyline plot device to piss off people, as a heel. When you talk about how he wants to beat up Okada, he was saying like, Okada, you think that you are the ace? Well, you haven't met the Bullet Club's leader himself. Like that's confidence. I think we as fans, right, we love it when the characters that we see on screen are so confident in their own abilities that it's like, ooh, I want to see this guy who's super ego and knows that he's the best, fight against this guy who's also equally as egotistical and know he's the best, That's why people like Conor and Khabib, even though they're very differing styles and all that, but like Khabib comes across as a humble guy, but he's a killer.
Yeah,
and he knows that he's a killer.
You're talking about MMA, like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, and now that he's back to being this cleaner instead of being this not here, not there tag team guy, it's going to be an interesting time to see where AEW takes. And with the whole title tournament going on, take the damn title off of John Moxley already, because ain't nobody give a crap.
You know where this story is gonna go, right? This is so obvious that it's gonna end up the finals is gonna be between Omega and Page. Like
that's the whole point.
The table is set up is really like that.
And it's one of those things that yes, we want to see it. It's obvious. Let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So, okay, with that said and done, I think that just about wraps it up for this episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Once again, 100 episodes in, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
Indeed.
And as always, head to our YouTube page, our Instagram page, our Facebook page, Kick to the Guts. That's where you can find us and slide into our DMs if you ever need to ask us about stuff.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, especially. I think we're going to have some awesome content coming up in season 4.
That's right.
After this episode, obviously our 100th episode is a celebration of, all things wrestling, whether it's local wrestling, WWE, AEW, New Japan, whatever it is. We're going to take a short break. I think we deserve the break, bro. 40 episodes, in a row. It's the longest season that we had, and we did it half of it through the pandemic.
That's right.
I think we need to recalibrate a bit. Take a deep breath.
Well, if anything, too, this pandemic has forced a lot of us to learn new skills. We're doing this over Zoom and everything. So, in this quote-unquote new normal, if there's any silver lining, is that hey, we've opened ourselves up to more interesting ways to doing the show. And like we said, what you see right now on your screen is a sign of things to come. Live Kick to the Gut stream shows, that is definitely on the cards for season 4. So we can't wait to bring you more wrestling action.
That'll be awesome, bro.
Yeah,
we can't wait.
Stick to our social medias to find out when exactly our next episode is going to be dropping. Like we said, we're going to take a small break while we recalibrate and refresh ourselves. You can rest assured that our socials are still going to remain active. Yes.
Like in terms of reviews, we may not be doing on the podcast, but we'll talk about it on our Insta stories or our Instagram, that kind of thing. But like I said, like the short break, we'll let you guys know when we are ready to come back. Hopefully before the end of the year, and hopefully with more guests lined up.
Guys, you know where to find us. You can always reach out, and anytime you want, slide into our DMs and ask us. We're glad to chat and stuff like that. Anyway, as always, for the last time in season 3, it's Mr. Young,
and it's Foreign in the building. Take care. Take care.